I'm going to show you how to bleed the brakes and actually flush through the entire braking system using one of these pressure bleeders. This particular one's made by Sealey. The model number is the VS820, and although it's a bit of an investment, this cost me £40, and obviously much more expensive than just buying a bit of poly piping and doing it the traditional methods. For me, this is the best way of flushing through your entire brake fluid system and improving the efficiency of your brakes. So there's lots on YouTube about other methods of brake bleeding, the one-man method and two-man method, just using pipes and pumping the brake pedal. So I'm going to show you this, and hopefully you'll, if I describe it correctly, you'll understand why I prefer this particular method and just why it's such a great little piece of equipment. So we'll go out to the car, get it all set up, and get the brakes bled and flush through. Okay, so we're out at the car, got the brake fluid reservoir cap off, loosened off the filter here, little fine gauze in there, move that out of the way, and all I'm going to do now is suck out the old fluid down to the minimum level. So there's a marking at the side, may or may not be able to catch it there. There's a minimum level down there, and I'm just going to suck out the fluid, the old fluid, using a turkey baster down to minimum. So that's the old fluid removed from the reservoir. I've got the fresh fluid here, which I'm going to pour in to the pressure bleeder, and then I'll show you the next step. So that's the fluid in the pressure bleeder. You might be able to see the pickup straw at the back of so you have to make sure that's immersed in fluid. So I'm now going to put the cap on. Make sure it goes on, no cross threads, nice and tight. That will hold the pressure. Then all I'll be doing then is screwing this onto here, but before I screw this onto here, I'll just pump the lever to get the fluid flowing. Pump the top of the, when I say pump the lever, this plunger here, and that'll start sending fluid up through, and I'll top up the reservoir before I then finish screwing this cap on. Okay, so now we've got a pressure tight seal in there. Just going to pump up this now, and you're just going to pump it up until it reads, we're going to go up to 20 psi, so just around there. Okay, so I've actually pumped it up to just coming up to 18 psi, and all you do then is you just leave it for about 5 minutes, and this is where the system comes into its own, because you can leave it for 5 minutes, and obviously the whole system, your whole braking system's under pressure, and that can give you a chance to have a look around, check all the pipe work, and just make sure you've got no air leaks, or see if there's any fluid coming out, and then you can return to this after 5 minutes, and if it's still holding 18 psi, then you know that your braking system's holding pressure quite nicely, and then it's ready to open the bleed nipples and bleed the brakes. So I've left it 5 minutes, no pressure's been lost, so I know there's no other issues with the braking system. So we'll come down to here now. I've got the tube set up on the bleed nipple at the back, and then I'll just crack that open. Got the jar ready, tube going up nice and high, easier to see any air bubbles. And on this particular one it's an 11mm. And as I said, the beauty of this system is that all you have to concentrate on then is bleeding the brakes, because the pressure bleeder is forcing, it's holding a constant pressure and forcing the fluid through, and at the same time it's also topping up your reservoir, so you don't need to do anything. You just need to open the bleed nipples, drain out however much fluid you want to. I mean, as you can see, I keep my brakes very good anyway, so the fluid already coming out is just as clear as what's going into the system. So but if your brakes haven't been done for a while, you can have quite a milky fluid coming through, or it can even be very, very dark, like cold tea, old and burnt, and that's going to be doing your braking system no good. But as you can see, this fluid, you can almost not really see it through the tube, it's doing so well. And that's it, and that's how you pressure bleed your brakes. And all I'll do now is just repeat it across all the wheels. Do the other front wheel, do the rear wheels, and jobs are good and nice and easy. And that's what's so great about the Sealey pressure bleeder. Just an additional bit to remind you that after each wheel, just go back, double check the pressure reading. As you can see, we've lost 2 psi there, because obviously pressure's gone from the system as I've been bleeding the brakes. And so all you do then, you just do the plunger and just get it back up to 18-20 psi, and then just do your next wheel. So yeah, just keep an eye on the pressure after each wheel. Finally, remember I said about it didn't matter if you overfilled the reservoir at the start. All you do now, because the reservoir will be completely full, you just release the pressure by undoing the cap on the pressure bleeder. As I'm releasing the pressure there, what that does is then suck back any excess fluid from the reservoir. So once I take the cap off, the fluid level will be fine, and then you just top up accordingly, or just siphon out a little bit more with the turkey baster, and that's job done. Nice and easy.